As you can see, my team is like the Washington Redskins in the red zone, frozen like mannequins. We'll be right back.
I really did save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
I should take a closer look at Geico.
Geico has a long history of great savings and great service. Over 75 years.
Wait, 75 years? That is great.
Speaking of great, check out these hot riffs. You like Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I have an early day tomorrow, so.
Wait, almost there.
Good night, Bruce.
I gotta tune the A. Me.
Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
No, I think they made us flat. The Giants made us flat. We go 3 and out. We check to get to receive the ball in the opening kick. We have a third down and a foot, and we run a power play, and we could lose 2 yards. Defense comes out, and they kind of walk the ball down the field in about a 7 or 8 play drive, and we just never were able to. It was very similar to Carolina. We're never able to get the fans into the game, get a momentum burst, and then keep it. We had a couple spurts there in the second half. We got the score tied, but we just could never get anything going early. It was a terrible start.
I don't know until I watch the film, but like you said, if you don't run the ball well, it makes it tough. If you have a 3rd and short, we just couldn't get it early on the first series, and then got in some 3rd and longs, and that's tough sledding, and they got some sacks in some different situations, and then we had the turnover when we did get down in the red zone. So it was a combination of factors, not any one thing, but they all combined to create a tough day, and credit them. They did a really good job, I thought. They got good players, they got a good scheme, and they've shown that all year, and they showed it again today.
Welcome back to the show. I know a lot of people are upset talking about the Washington Redskins should have been in the playoffs. Maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe they'll get better next year. When you have an 871 record, you're just a little bit better than 50%. Welcome back, Mike Baker. Now, y'all looking at Gary Clark right now, he's gone gangster on me. He's mad. So forgive him, y'all. He's still with us. And Donna Hopkins, hey, guys.
Yeah.
Gee, are you that mad, man?
I think I had a flashback to me not going to the playoffs back when I played. It's a depressing moment.
When you guys, when you all were talking before the show, when you lost a game and you came, say, to meetings or whatever the next day, you sort of dressed down, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's depressing.
Okay.
It is, and
losing's never a good thing,
G,
especially when you have opportunity to win.
And Donna and you and G, we saw this on Sunday and it kind of bothered me. After the game, I saw players, Redskin players out there with Giants players taking selfies and laughing and shaking
And you had just lost, right?
And they just took money out of their pocket. I can't believe that. And you just missed the playoffs. I can't be friendly with them.
No, I want to just ask you all, how do you go into a game knowing what's at stake and you come in flat? Then Gruden talks about they made you flat. How do you make a team flat? You're flat because you made yourself flat.
I think Tony just explained that. What he said happened after the game.
Exactly.
That is it's just something that I can't even fathom. If I'd have been a part of that when I was playing, I'd have fought everybody on the field.
I got teammates.
That would do that.
I got teammates I wouldn't talk to.
You're not going to the playoffs. You don't even have a chance to go to the show. What are you happy about?
It was interesting.
Before we get into the I'm sorry, before we get in the Redskins, when we went to the Super Bowl,
what's to get into?
When we went to the Super Bowl and we lost to the Raiders, Mike Haynes and Shelby Jordan, the 2 guys on the team that started that I played in New England with, and when we lost that game, I didn't speak to them for a year. Okay, let's get back to this game.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, though, this is Scott McCloughan's second year. If when he came in, you were to say the first year they're going to win the division, the second year they're going to be a game away from going to the playoffs, and the second year when he promised a five-year plan, the team hasn't done that badly. But I'll tell you what really hurt this team this year and why they didn't play as well. Look at Scott McCloughan's draft. Not one player made an impact. Not one of his draft picks, all 7. Sua Cravens came in, but he was, as they say, a football player, a tweener, who really couldn't play linebacker and apparently was too heavy to play safety. So if you take Sua Cravens out of the picture, this is one of the worst drafts in Redskins history, and that's why this team is 8-7-1.
Well, you look at Cousins and the offensive line, how they grew together. And you got some players that maybe weren't draft choices, but they utilized them in the right way. Just like they took Sheriffs and put him in at guard. He goes to the Pro Bowl. I'm not enamored with the draft, but what do you guys think? You can't run the ball. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, or you don't try to run the ball.
But also some of your top picks got hurt. They weren't able to perform. And quite honestly, a lot of times, your draft picks, a lot of times they don't get to play until years later anyhow, other than your top pick typically. So, I mean, it's not necessarily the draft. I think Scott's done a great job so far.
Yeah,
it comes down to your players.
Thank you.
It comes down to your character of your players
Yeah.
when it comes to winning and losing football games. If I lose a football game, there is no way in hell that I'm going to go over there and be taking selfies with the other team.
Oh, man.
I just lose my chance to go to the playoffs.
But you know,
it's a character thing, and it's a thing that I don't fear something.
But you know what? Let me tell you this. If I was drafted and picking a team, I'll get me about 7 Pierre Garçons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy plays hard.
Intensity.
He's intensity. You can see when they lose a game, he's not happy. He's not happy. And if he feel like he was part of the reason, the problem,
He gonna say
it.
But you know what, with Mike, what he was talking about with the draft picks, but offensively, even beyond the draft picks, you had every weapon possibly on offense as far as Robert Kelly would come on if you would run him. And then you had those receivers, the tight end, Vernon Davis. So you had every kind of weapon you needed on offense. But in the last 5 or 6 games, and Gary and all of us was talking about it, in big games, they did not win those big games. They looked like they were afraid when they came into big games.
They were outcoached, Tony. And even the head coach said that several times in the press conference. We were outcoached today.
Yeah, but I have a tendency not to go with that because you know what? You can coach only so far. Coaches don't go on the field. And when you get out there on the field, you got a man in front of you you want to beat. And that's what you need to do to win the game. So I'm not saying the coaches are fault or the GM. I'm saying the players
that
went out on the field and knew what was at stake and then lay it out there. That's what I blame.
I guarantee you the coaches didn't say, go take the selfie after the game. Like, that's the element of the fault right now. Like, don't get me wrong. The players, they're all good guys. I'm not bad-mouthing the players in that aspect. They're all good guys, and they all want to win. And it comes down to that. But like I'm saying, like, they do not hate to lose. And they don't hate to lose with a passion. Football is a game built on passion. You play it with passion. If you make a mistake, you feel bad about it. If you do something great, you feel great about it. You show that excitement. You know, and it's not about getting the first down and doing something cool because I made a first down. You're supposed to make the first down.
Yeah.
You're doing your job.
So one thing is the first down, and it keeps the drive going because it's at the end of the game and you want to keep the drive going, or you're trying to get your teammates pumped up.
But I got to disagree with Gary on one thing before we take this break. I don't know if all the players wanted to win. I don't think they really cared because they all got paid on Monday. When we come back, we'll talk about a defense that did do a little bit better. We'll be back in a minute.
I'll look back at this season maybe a week from now, 2 weeks, a month, and I can honestly say that we played some good football. We played some good football despite the peaks and valleys and the lows and all the adversity and the turmoil that we had to face. And at times, we still play some good football. And we have a lot of winners on this team, a lot of guys who didn't give up. They didn't give up. They kept fighting. And those are guys that I want on my team.
You know, we didn't play enough to win, so, you know, not surprising when you don't score no points in the first half, start slow. You know, can't play playoff football and start slow and give teams a 10-point head start. Yeah, it's a lot of games we could have had like today, but we got to fix ourselves. Things happen. We got to learn from mistakes and learn from our woes. But we had a hard time doing that, so that's what happens.
We just let too many plays slip away from us. Too many games slip away from us that we had in our hands. Where we just didn't make the game-changing plays that we needed in the big-time games. Every time we had the playoff scenario in our hands, we just came out flat, or we just didn't come out and dominate the team the way we were supposed to. And
well, when you look at this game, would you say to yourself, how in the world did this happen?
How what?
How in the world did this happen? You all not pulling this game out, knowing what was at stake.
It was surprising. I thought we'd handle our business. They got too many first downs on the defense, even though we only held them to 13. You'd like to get the ball. You'd like to get the ball to the offense a lot more, because one time I looked up, I seen how much more time of possession that they had. Even though we eventually made stops and stuff, but it's a collective thing. The offense didn't make enough plays today, didn't play up to their par standard, and we got to bail them out. We didn't, so you lose.
How would you assess this season when you look back at some of the games and just up to this point? You would say, what about this season?
That we're right there. I mean, the theme all year is, we're this close, right there. If this, if that, we're always within a couple plays. So we got to figure out a way to get over the hump and, look forward to next year.
Well, welcome back to the show. Little discrepancy here. We're talking about the defense. Everyone said the defense played well enough to win. What did they? They didn't win. So let's talk about that. They had a good goal line stand.
Well,
They did put a little pressure on Manning, but
I think Manning could have gone out and bought a new car and filed his nails. I mean, when you look at what you had Trent Murphy, you had Ryan Kerrigan, and you had Preston Smith. And Ryan goes out with a finger, and people in the press box are going, "Aw, come on."
Who are those people?
I've heard you guys say in the past, you tape it up and you get back in there. Now, come on, guys.
And then the Giants set most of their players the second half. But okay, so on the sideline, I don't know if you all picked this up, Ricky Jean Francois went up there and he kind of like went off and everything. They had to pull him back. But why at this game do I need to pump anybody up? Why do you not come into the game ready to play and fired up? I shouldn't have to go down the sideline and try to get you all fired up because you're dead looking.
But sometimes you don't realize, and G can tell you this, I don't think a lot of those players, because they're young, they don't realize they may not get an opportunity to win the division or anything else again. So you take every opportunity you get to be successful. These guys went out there and they was more concerned with how some of them, not all of them, how their uniforms look, what writing they had on them, dancing before the game and all that. everything should have been more business-like to me on offense and defense with this team.
If you're going to have a ritual, the ritual should be something that makes you play better. If that's what your ritual is, if you need to do all that, but it's because it makes you play better, not because you're trying to just showcase so you can get this or get that. And I'm not saying that those guys did, but at the end of the day, there is something wrong when I have the opportunity to set my own path, and I fail each time. That's something like I'm not setting my alarm clock in the morning. I don't get it. It's hard for me just to understand ever coming out flat for a big game. And I'm sorry, nobody can make me look flat.
And let's look on the other side of the ledger. They sacked Kirk 4 times, and you're talking about our guys
once.
Exactly.
One sack.
And the fact that the Giants did not play their top people
it
at
wasn't
the end.
one of our.
And the Giants was literally trying to give this game to the Redskins as a gift.
And it was a
not
platoon
want to
player
take
that
it
got
still.
the sack too. Wasn't one of the starters.
Well, you know what? I can't say all of them, and I don't know what every player has in his head. But one thing I know, what this team has in his head is a team, and you got to come together as a team. When you got this opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. You can't come out and say, oh, they came out flat, the offense didn't move it, you start blaming it on facets of the team. It's the team.
As a team, they don't have that, as you say, winning attitude.
Mike Baker wanted to throw. I thought Preston Smith, he got some pretty good.
You know what?
press.
For a second-round pick, I mean, I was in the same press room Donna was when the coach, when Preston had one good game, and the coach said, yeah, we've been after him week after week after week to step up. He had one good game and then regressed again.
Get him, Donna.
Where was he yesterday?
Mike,
where was he on
the thing about
Sunday?
it
The
is-
most important game of the year, where was he?
But he has stepped up, and some of the other players have not stepped up.
Only 2
because
games.
He's had more
He had
than
2
two
good games.
because in the Chicago game, he was instrumental on that, a couple more back. But the thing about it is he's gradually coming on. Some of those other players that should be stepping up, Ryan Kerrigan, he should have came back in, taped up and so forth. And some of the other players, they haven't done their job as a whole. So don't just point out him.
I'm not.
All right,
I'm just
Donna,
saying,
get him,
wait a
Donna.
minute.
Gee,
Wait a
you
minute.
check it
Okay,
out.
you're Preston Smith's agent. That's good. But Tony said this. You guys heard this many years. This is not a 3-4 division.
No.
The Dallas went back to a 4-3. You're taking 2 edge rushers and you're making them play linebacker and dropping them into coverage, and they're not playing well. Now go back to the doggone 4-3. You got 2 great pass rushers.
But they don't have the personnel for a 3-4 or 4-3 right now.
They may have it. You just have to move people around. And I think Mike has a good. Your point is valid as well. I think Preston has more than 2 good games, and they have to move players around and build. That's what Coach Gibbs and his staff did. He took a system and he put the players, but then he built the system around the players.
So what are you saying, coaching?
It's a 4-3 division.
Are you saying coaching?
No, I'm not. See,
it's around your talent.
Right. It's around your.
But
what you know, Donna wanted to. She didn't throw
all
Preston
that.
under the bus, so she want me to throw the coaches under the bus. I'm not going to do it. What we're going to do is come back and throw the special teams under the bus because they didn't score a touchdown. We'll be back in a moment.
Whoa, this is awful. Try it.
Oh, no, that looks gross. What is that?
You gotta try it. It's terrible.
I don't want to try it if it's terrible.
It's like mango chutney and burnt hair.
No, thank you. I have a very sensitive palate.
Just try it!
Guys, I think we should hurry up.
If you taste something bad, you want someone else to try it. It's what you do.
I can't get the taste out of my mouth.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Shh, dog.
Dog, 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 dog.
Special teams, were they special? I don't know. You guys tell me. Were they a big part of the game? I didn't see them.
I like Crowder.
Contribute.
I
like Crowder too.
I think Crowder comes out to try to make something happen.
There's a lot of people criticizing that last kick return, but he was trying to get them in.
If you see a crack,
you got to go for it.
Yeah, if you see a crack.
Hey, Tony, Gary was talking about something about this game should have been one that went backwards and forwards. I think about the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game where it was like a slug-out fight in that game where the winner gets the division and everything. That's the type of game that should have been played. The other day with the Redskins and the Giants is that they should have been slugging that out.
This was a playoff game. This was a playoff game.
Gary just said it, but
this
you know
was
what?
a playoff game.
I don't even just go to the playoff game. You play every game like that, and it starts with your leaders. And you know what? On this team is what I'm concerned with. Who are the leaders? We know that Cousins has had a great year, but now is he even going to be their quarterback of the future?
Well, I just want to make one comment. We stayed there late. We read all the comments of all the players because they bring up press clippings. I just want to ask you guys this. One of the players said that he felt like he needed to go up to Kirk after the game because he was down again and lift his spirits and say even Michael Jordan, for example, missed a shot and didn't get a championship and tried to pick him up. Are we still in the business of trying to pick this quarterback up after these losses? Does he go right or left instead of straight when he throws an interception? Does he have the head to play this game?
The operative word you said was again. And if he's going into the press and every time he has a bad game, he can't do that.
I'm fine with Kurt.
Yeah.
I think Kurt is the quarterback of the Redskins' future right now. I do think that. I think as a teammate, your job is to go pick up your teammate if he's down.
Okay.
I don't care, but what I'm like about it is he was down. He should be down. If he's upbeat, what am I upbeat about? I just saw one of the biggest games of my career. I am not going to be happy about it. If I see somebody all happy and smiling after I lose a playoff game, I'm going to punch him right in the face.
That's why I said the operative word is again. At least he still cares. At least he's still out there trying. Yes, he did throw some interceptions. Maybe not his fault on either one of them, but it doesn't matter. He know he's the leader of this team. He know like his contract's coming up. What do you do with it now?
Well, do you put a franchise tag on him, Donna, the non-restrictive one, where you let other teams bid on him, match that offer, and if you don't, if he does move on, you get 2 first-round picks? Is that what you want to do?
Well, the non-restricted one is going to be better because the thing about it is you get teams bidding on it, and then it brings the price down possibly a little bit more because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to have that heavy tag. But if you look at the quarterback play overall in the NFL, it had been down, but if you don't pick up Kurt, who do you pick up after that? I mean, that's tough.
Well, we'll have to discuss that in the next segment. But Donna, we're thinking about putting a tag on these next year. We'll be back in a moment.
Super tag.
Oh, that's lovely.
So graceful.
The corkscrew spin, flawless. His signature move, the Flying Dutchman. Poetry in motion.
And there it is, the baby bird.
Breathtaking.
A sumo wrestler figure skating? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Heather saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
For the first time since 1997-98, the Redskins finished with a record of 8-7-1.
It's the playoffs, and in the NFC wildcard game, you've got the Detroit Lions traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Now, the Detroit Lions and the Seahawks have struggled as of late. The Lions have lost their last 2 games, and since Matt Stafford hurt that finger, he has not been the same. But you look at the Seahawks, they've struggled too on offense. No running game for the most of the season, and their defense still has not been the defense of old. But the Detroit Lions, they haven't been able to run the ball. Their passing game has disappeared somewhat. Defensively, they're somewhat solid. But this week in Seattle, despite all the problems, Russell Wilson hasn't been the same player. But I'm picking the Seahawks this week.
So we got the Oakland Raiders traveling to Houston to play the Texans in a wild card game. These 2 teams appear to be headed in the wrong direction. The Raiders lost their backup quarterback. The Texans, they're in shambles already. Well, look for this to be a hard-fought game between two very physical offenses. But I like Oakland on the road. Pick the Raiders.
Now we have Miami traveling to Pittsburgh. This is probably going to be the easiest pick for all of you football fans out there. You have to take Pittsburgh. Big Ben and company, they never lose the first round of the playoffs. It's just something that Big Ben is not going to allow. They're playing in Pittsburgh. Miami's used to the sun, they're used to the heat. They're having a little bit of quarterback problems right now. Take Pittsburgh to win by 14. Pick Pittsburgh. Go Steelers!
Usually I come to you with a lot of confidence, the minister of information, but I have to go against the grid today. The Giants beat the Washington Redskins last week. That doesn't mean that they're that good, but they're going up and play a Packer team that's won 5-6 games in a row. Got the best quarterback playing in the world right now, but I got to go against him because I need to beat Gary Clark in the picks. Straight up, I'm telling you what it is. I picked the Giants, you better pick the Packers.
Hey, congratulations on the Sports Bar Challenge. Crystal City Sports Pub, Jim Madden won this year with a 13-3 record. And of course, Greavy's Restaurant came in second with a 12-4 record. And the restaurant's currently relocating, but there's tremendous history there that Tony can talk about because 32 years ago, this March, we all met at Greavy's Restaurant on the patio. I remember the exact table at Greavy's. Right. And that's how the whole thing started.
That's right. That's where you.
And I picked up the tab.
That's right. Oh, I don't remember that part of it. But you know, another significant thing that happened there is that's where my son-in-law asked for my daughter's hand there. So, you know, it's a lot of history. And Greavy has always been great there. So I'm looking forward to the new place. Also, I want you fans to know that we will be here all the way to the 25th of January. It doesn't matter who wins, lose, or draw. We'll be here. Talk about our picks. Gary is in front right now, but I want you to watch the next 3 weeks. I'm about to walk him down.
Well, not this week, because we have the same picks.
Right. You got me on that. That's where they should do these playoffs and let everybody pick. Who do you guys think can win in the playoffs? It's going to be interesting. We only got a minute.
Adam
or so.
is my witness. He said, I said at the beginning of the season
I
before
don't
it started,
believe that.
I said it would be
Adam.
Green Bay and Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, and Pittsburgh wins the Super Bowl.
Dean, can you get that film for us? We want.
You remember Adam, right?
I don't think that you can put New England out of there because they always have a way.
I think it's going to be different.
Yeah, I do too.
I really do.
And I hate to say Dallas,
you go bet against Brady.
Yeah, I'm going to bet against him this year.
You wonder why you're behind me in the picks right now.
I'm betting against him this year. You know. I like that Pittsburgh team too, but I tell you, the team that everybody better be afraid of is Kansas City.
No running game.
I do. That's what you say. Mark my word.
I know one person's not scared of Kansas City.
Who? Brady.
But
now Dallas.
The NFC is tougher to pick, though.
I was telling our boy that Dallas, you know, our boy out there, I was telling him, he shouldn't have said his name, but now Danny, I'm telling Danny, y'all gonna lose your first game. As soon as they come off the bye.
I don't know about
like,
that.
I don't know who's gonna come out of NFC. I really don't.
Because it's hard. Because
it's hard.
Green
Bay can, the Giants can, Dallas can.
My tip of the week is to you fans. You gotta do something when you talk about the Washington Redskins. That one of my grandkids told me, get over it. We'll be back next week. It happens. We'll be back next week, and we have a special guest for you next week. So you come back and watch the show. As I always say, we don't say goodbye. We say in the minute.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus wishes to thank these employers for supporting our Hire a Military Vet Challenge. Special thanks to Veteran Staffing Network, Mercedes-Benz of Arlington, Department of Health and Human Services, Montgomery County, Maryland, Bechtel, MVLE, CSC, Strategy Management, Caliber, Mainline Protective Services, and Easter Seal serving DC, Maryland, and Virginia. If you're an employer and want to get involved, contact Red Mag Plus TV at AOL.com.